here are all the things that I ate at Disney without any reservations and zero planning. And a heavy emphasis on the zero planning because I am type B, so I'm allergic to planning anything in advance. It was a bit of a spontaneous decision to do a Disney day, and let me tell you, it was a hot Disney day. Not ideal for somebody who's 28 weeks pregnant. We were close to Orlando, and, I really just wanted to eat some snacks and watch the fireworks. So we started the day by hitting up Epcot. During the beginning of March through the beginning of June is the Flower and Garden Festival, which is probably my favorite thing about Disney. The entire park showcases an array of gorgeous flower arrangements, and the best part is the snacks and all the different mini pavilions. I love the Flower and Garden Festival because it's not Disney-fied, probably why I love Epcot more than the other parks. So, one of my favorite booths at the festival is the Honey Bistro, and it's located towards the front of the park, and it's basically before you enter Canada. They're known for their chicken and waffle, but I got a sweet tooth, and what I really wanted was a cold, sweet little drink. Let me pull out my camera, because I want to show you the first thing that I got. So I got the honey peach. Oh, okay. It was the honey peach cobbler freeze. So it had a very light peachy flavor. And it was super creamy. But I think the best part of this was the what was it? The cobbler crumble that came on top of it was so yummy and delicious. And I obviously opted for the virgin version, but if you really wanted to, you could make it alcoholic. They put blueberry vodka with it. And the Honey Bistro is probably my favorite spot because all the flowers is just so beautiful. It's so well decorated. And they had these beautiful red straw flowers that were so pretty. I'd love to try my hand and grow some straw flowers in my own garden. So the next thing I got was there was a beach pavilion. The beach pavilion was right next to the Honey Bistro, and I couldn't pass up the corn. It looked so delicious. I was walking through and I was just oh my gosh, hold on. This corn is calling my name. But it was basically an elote. So it was the sweet corn that was grilled. It was covered in chipotle aioli, and it had some crumble cheese. And it had something spicy, like a chili lime powder. I would say that it was pretty overpriced at $6, but, we're at Disney. We're not saving any money on the food. So afterwards, we wanted to park hop to Magic Kingdom because let me just say I feel like I only really went to Epcot because I really wanted the peach cobbler freeze. So as we were leaving, I got these Starburst gummies. They were just handing out these Starburst gummies, and I've been in a bit of a gummy kick lately, so I was just all about it. I was just yes, I'm obsessed with anything gummies. So, once we ate more gummies, we hopped over to Magic Kingdom, and we explored Main Street. And, the interesting thing is that, I usually zip through Main Street pretty quickly because, I want to get to the rest of the park. But because I'm pregnant, I decided to take it slow and just, look around Main Street. And I never buy anything on Main Street, but I actually decided to buy something at the Main Street confectionery. But it's I think it's at the front. I think it's the very first store that you go to is the Main Street confectionery. It's super sweet. There's like caramel apples and popcorn smell. It's just so incredibly sweet. And I know a lot of people get like the popcorn bowl. A lot of people get the popcorn bowl. And the popcorn bowl is where you pick and choose a bunch of different toppings and random things that your heart desires. But it was 95 degrees and I'm absolutely dying of heat. So I ended up getting a pina colada freezy. Okay, so the cherry was broken. The cherry flavor was broken. Otherwise, I would have totally gotten the cherry flavor. I just came back from Puerto Rico, so I drank so many virgin pina coladas. So I was just in the mood. And obviously, the pina colada freezy at Disney does not compare to the real one in Puerto Rico. But it was cold and it was satisfying. That cold, sweet little craving that I had. This was very much a casual Disney day. It was already so hot, and my partner was very kind and just let me go on my own pace. So we really didn't do any rides. Mind you, I'm in my 3rd trimester, and standing in line under the hot sun, it just doesn't sound fun to me. So the next snack I got, which is probably my favorite snack that I was gotten this whole day. Let me show the park map, because we went through the castle. We went through the castle, and then after we went through the castle, we went around Fantasyland, and beyond the Beauty and the Beast restaurant is Gastons Tavern right here. It's like up at the top here. Like we went through the castle and just like hooked to like right, and then we went to Gastons Tavern. And let me just tell you, this place is such a slept on place for snacks. Like the menu was so delicious. Everything I got was super, super yummy. And as you might have noticed a pattern on all the things that I have ordered, I once again got a very, very cold sweet beverage. And it was so delicious. I think this is my favorite cold sweet beverage I got throughout the day. It's called the LeFou's Brew. And I don't understand why more people don't talk about this drink. It's a frozen apple juice topped with mango foam, and it has a little bit of like a toasted marshmallow flavor. And I really enjoyed it. The texture was amazing. I love how fruity it was. And the other thing I ended up getting was the ham and guar cheese tart. And it was so good. It's like a crispy, flaky croissant with thinly sliced ham. And then the cheese, the guar cheese, oh my gosh, it was so yummy. This is by far my favorite snack in Magic Kingdom. We actually went to the Little Mermaid ride, and the ride broke down in front of Ariel and Sebastian singing Under the Sea. And it was actually perfect because it was a dark ride. It was air conditioned. The ride broke down for like 15 minutes. I was so happy because I was just there chilling, listening to some Little Mermaid music. So afterwards, Jason and I felt very nostalgic. We felt very, very nostalgic. And we were talking about how both our families would go to Cosmic, like Ray Starlight Cafe in Tomorrowland when we were like younger. So like back in like the early 2000s, there wasn't really any modern dining options. And my family never reserved any restaurants in the park. So you would just like come to Disney for the rides. You wouldn't go to Disney for eating snacks and dining in restaurants. So when I like traveled with my family, like food was just never a priority. And so the common go-to back then was the Starlight Cafe, because Tomorrowland was like the place to go when you visited Magic Kingdom. It doesn't get any more classic and basic than this Starlight Cafe. So yeah, Jason and I were actually feeling pretty nostalgic, and we were like, let's go to Tomorrowland. And I ended up getting your basic chicken tender with fries, and honestly, it was so good. It was freaking good. I enjoyed it. I think it's more of the nostalgia that's like talking, but how can you go wrong with your park classic, which is just a chicken tender and fry? I don't really understand how the Starlight Cafe is still existing now in 2025. It hasn't had a reno, and it looks exactly the same from like 2 decades ago. But I had a lot of fun. So before we left Magic Kingdom, because we wanted to hop back to Epcot, we actually got a churro. We got a churro in Frontierland, and then I went to say hi to my boy Orange Bird, because Orange Bird is like my favorite character. I didn't get a pineapple Dole Whip because I was pretty snacked out at this point. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty snacked out at this point. So we hopped back to Epcot, and we rode the ride in the big disco ball. I forgot the name of the ride. It's like fleeting my memory. I can't remember what that when you get into Epcot, there is a ride right at the beginning where you actually go inside the disco ball. The golf ball, I don't know. What do you call it? I'm not entirely sure what you call the ride. It was 10 minutes. Let me just say, the ride wait was 10 minutes, and I was very happy about that. So it's almost firework time. Almost time for the fireworks. The real reason why we went to Disney. And the sun was starting to set. So my new favorite thing that they added in Epcot very recently was the Journey of Water. And it was so beautiful because we went during dusk, and it's basically a walking path with interactive water structures, but it's so well done and well themed. And we went during dusk time, and it was just perfect because all the glowing lights were on, and it was just like absolutely magical. I love Moana. I love this part of the park. It's so fun, and it's also a walking path, which is like great. Before we went to the fireworks, I needed to get one last sweet cold drink. How many cold drinks have I gotten at this point? So this was the watermelon cucumber freeze at the Florida Fresh booth, and this is like at the very front of the park, and it's honestly so refreshing. I'm pretty sure you could make this at home. Like if you had a blender, all you would have to do is dice up some watermelons, cut up some cucumber and some lime, and it would taste basically the same thing and probably less expensive. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It was tasty. It was a cold drink, and I am highly motivated by snacks. So we finally got to see the fireworks. And the main reason why we came to Disney in the first place was to see the Epcot fireworks. And we stayed well after the finale, and we got to the gift shop, and Jason actually got me some gummy worms. The very last thing that I ate at Disney was some gummy worms. And oh my gosh, if it wasn't for me recapping everything that I ate, I am now realizing that I consumed basically sugar in the form of a frozen drink or sugar in the form of a gummy. So that's fantastic. Even though it was a casual Disney day, I still walked a lot, and the heat was terrible. It's not even summer yet, and the temperature was absolutely unbearable. I think what made it worse was that There was no wind, there was no clouds. It was just the sun. So we drove back, and I basically passed out when I got home because we had an early morning flight back to the mountains, and I'm just so excited to be back in cooler weather. The Appalachian Mountains is so beautiful during spring, and the weather is breezy and rainy, and after spending 10 days in the baking sun, I think I'm ready to be back at home. But anyways, thank you so much for hearing me ramble and talk about silly things, like all the things that I ate at Disney. And I can't believe all I ate was frozen drinks and gummies. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I hope you have a good one, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.